friends, welcome to our Thursday Circuit Challenge as we do our fun mythical creatures around the United States. Excuse me, right off the bat. So all week we've been making these fun little book covers about different mythical creatures that have a little light up portion, and then we can stuff a little story in here. It's a great project that has science and art all together, along with some writing that you can do. So I'm really excited to be doing these. We have a new one today, the Flatwood Monster, and it's our challenge circuit because it has two glowing eyes. And you will have to decide what color those eyes will glow. So we'll get to learn a little bit about that Flatwood Monster so you guys have maybe somewhere to start your story from. And then we'll get to do a lot of fun projecting. But first, I want to tell you guys what you're gonna need. So if you don't have it ready, you can run and grab it. So the first thing you need is our templates. So these will have come in your email. And if you don't get these in your emails, you should totally check us out at patreon.com/rosieresearch because that helps support us and it gets you all of the templates and all of the learning stuff that you need in your email inbox at the beginning of each week and also daily as our live YouTube stuff goes on. And of course, you should also click like and subscribe to our YouTube page so that you get the notifications and you don't miss a thing that happens for us. So you want those templates. You also need some sort of LEDs. These are my rainbow ones because I think I'm going to have a rainbow flashing eyes. But you could also maybe choose a color of LED. If you don't have LEDs and you're sort of waiting on supplies, I always suggest getting a nice little thing like this where it's all different colors and you have a variety to choose from so you can do what works for you in the art. We need a little something to punch a hole with. So I have a piece of metal that's sharp, so maybe a thumbtack would work for you, a skewer might work, maybe a pair of sharp scissors. And then I have like just a sharpened piece of wood that's just like a pencil that will work to make the hole bigger if we need that. You need some conductive tape. So this is a metallic tape. It comes in copper and aluminum. Copper tape is the most used type of tape to make paper circuits, so I would suggest that. You can usually get it at your common garden store like Ace Hardware. And you don't need it super thick. I know some of our friends have a really thick copper tape and they cut it thinner. You don't need it super thick, but if you cut it thinner, that'll work. I wouldn't get it super thin. That makes it really difficult. And if you don't have the copper tape or the aluminum tape, you can use aluminum foil. The other type of tape we need is a non-conductive tape. So like a masking tape, or maybe you like clear for a scotch tape. Duct tapes work, electrical tapes work. Any of those papery or plasticky tapes will work for you. To power our circuits, we need a battery. So you just need one. I've got two here because Georgia's joining me today. But these are CR2032 batteries. They are 3 volts, and that is the really important part. You want a 3-volt battery. So if you get a coin cell battery and it's 1.5 volts, it's not gonna light up your LED. All right, so you want 3 volts. They come in different sizes and thicknesses, and that just tells you sort of the larger it is, the longer it will last because it has more chemical energy to push those electrons all around. But these guys, they work, I mean, continuous for probably 5 or 6 days. And we have switches on all of our stuff, so it should work for a long time. And then you need scissors to cut your stuff out with. And Georgia's got a glue gun here because we've been having a lot of fun gluing our decals on. And then something to do art with. So we have some watercolor brushes that we've been painting with. Maybe you guys have some markers at home. And I think that's all we need. I mean, all summer long we've been doing these paper circuits. So our friends who have been with us and who are professionals, you guys might already be done with your paper circuit at this point. But you guys, this is the same stuff you need. So we've got like 25 different paper circuit videos now that with these supplies you can do all of them, which is pretty cool.
It's a lot.
It is a lot. All right, we'll get to our shout outs and then we'll learn about the Flatwood Monster and figure out how to wire it up. Who do we have today?
We have, for sure, Johnny Be Good.
Hello, Johnny. And Ellie, I bet. And maybe Rachel.
Yeah, and Big Brother, too.
Yes, and Sam and Ben.
And we got...
the whole good family.
We have Naomi.
Hello, Naomi. It's good to see you, too. I love our little crew.
Naomi's got, like, matching glasses and headphones. It's pretty cool.
Ooh.
They're, like, the same color schemes.
I love it. Naomi's in Zoom, and maybe Johnny and the Goods are in Zoom, too, which is a shout-out that if you want to go into a Zoom classroom because you don't want your kids on YouTube, unattended while you're doing your work and we're doing projects together, you can send them to our YouTube classroom where they get the live interaction, they get to ask questions to Evan, he'll shout them out to me, and they're not on YouTube. That's at patreon.com/RosieResearch. You should go there. You should support us because our programs are pretty amazing. We do really fun science. So. I know. It's great. All right, who else do we have?
That's what we have for the early risers on a Thursday morning.
Awesome. We also have to shout out to our afternoon crew. So we want to say hello to Rohan and Kaya and Benatia and Zoe and Brody and Chase and Hassan and Mimi. Hello, my friends, for whenever you get around to doing it today, which is the beautiful part about all of our stuff being archived, is that you can do it on a schedule that works for you. All right, let's learn about the Flatwood Monster. So, in the 1950s, in West Virginia, something streaked across the sky, and a couple brothers at an elementary school were like, whoa, what was that? Because I don't know, I think if I saw a huge fireball land in the forest near us, I would probably also be like, whoa, what was that? And I would go investigate. So these brothers went to investigate, and what they found, they claim, was a really large, like, humanoid shape with a metallic dress. It was wearing a metal dress, had these glowy eyes, and had this big spade of a head, and they thought that maybe that was, like, part of the dress. It, like, poofed up behind them or something. And it looked at them with the glowy eyes and had these really skinny arms with, like, lizard hands. And then it, like, walked off into the forest. And then a day later, in a different town in West Virginia, another report came, and they smelled sulfur, so like rotten eggs, and then they saw these glowing eyes, and people were like, what is that? And then a few days later, in another town in West Virginia, it like took a little path, it like took a trip down, and they saw it too, and it like, they stopped the car because they were driving, and it like slid its arm across the car, and then just walked into the forest. Now, some people are like, I'm pretty sure it was not a UFO that landed as that fireball. I'm pretty sure it was just a meteor, which, let's be honest, would be pretty cool anyhow. And then they're like, and also that whole, like, metallic dress human figure was probably just a barn owl. And you're probably just, like, shining the lights into its eyeballs, and that's why they were glowy. But then some people are like, dude, a barn owl is, like, this big. That's not, like, a 10-foot tall human-like creature in a big metallic dress. But then other people are like, but the barn owl's in the branch. Who knows? That's why it's a myth. So maybe it is just a barn owl having a lot of hoots with its friends scaring West Virginians. Or maybe it's an alien who is like decided to come to West Virginia to see the countryside.
Take a walking tour.
Take a walking tour. I mean, if you have the whole universe to visit, why not visit planet Earth in West Virginia? It could have amazing things. So, that is the story of the Flatwood Monster. So on our little cutouts, we have a cutout of what people think the Flatwood Monster might look like. If you'd like to put that on there with the two eyes, we'll wire up to glow. We have maybe it's a UFO to you, maybe it's a meteor, something burning that you could have flying from the sky. I put in some mountains over here you could cut out because West Virginia has the Appalachians. And then maybe you're like, no guys, it's the owl, and you have an owl that you could put on there for your story too. So there's a lot of options here.
And you could cut out your own.
And you can make your own too, yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. Like yesterday when we did Bessie, I definitely added my own toxic goop. Yes, so that Bessie would never go hungry. So you should definitely add your own stuff. All right, and now I want to show you guys how to make it. So the first thing that we've been doing on all of our templates is we cut all around on these black lines. Although what we've learned this week is that we should actually cut this as a rectangle instead of a skinny line. So I'm going to do that first. I'm just going to cut a little bit on either side of that black line. And you can do the same thing right up to that halfway point. And then I'm going to do it on the other side. Right up to that halfway point, and then I can snip this off. So I look like I have a pair of pants, which is perfect. Then we like to poke our holes, so we want our eyeballs to stick through. So you're gonna take your metal piece, it could be a push pin or a skewer, even like a paper clip will work to get it started. And you are going to push through these little black holes. This is where we're gonna center our eyeballs at. Just like that, we're gonna push it through. those holes are tiny, so we're gonna make them bigger. So we can use like a pencil or just a sharpened piece of wood, and you can put it on in there just like that, and you can make that hole a lot bigger.
Wow, you already paper circuit yours?
We're already getting there. Georgia's like well ahead of us. The next thing I like to do is fold our paper circuit so that when we're all done, we don't accidentally break what we've done. So one of the folds is gonna fold in to make the book hinges fold in. So you'll just fold it in like a hot dog. Just like this, you'll fold it in half like a hot dog.
Can I please have help?
Just a minute, Georgia. And then when you unfold it, we're gonna fold up these other two sides. So this side just folds up normally. It's gonna fold up all the way to the top. And that is really nice because it hides our circuit. All right, so when we're all done and we have our book cover, we'll have this awesome thing that lights up, but you won't be able to see the circuit. And I really like having that. And then we need a little folder piece for it. And the way we do that is this guy, we roll fold it. So we roll it and we fold it up to the center, sort of this middle line right here. Go down just a little bit. The middle line right there, we're gonna fold that. And then we're gonna fold it up one more time.
You already did all of yours?
Can you imagine seeing a monster in the wood with red glowing eyes?
It would be really scary. I think that would be really scary. So now we have our little folder for when we are ready. And you can kind of see how it's taking shape. We've got this sort of book cover. We're going to decorate out here. We'll have the LEDs stick out. This part we can decorate too. It's just going to cover up the circuit we are about to put in. And then this is where you could stuff some papers to tell your story. And if you tape it and leave this part open, you could even have a secret spot. All right, so now we are going to wire it up. So I'm gonna get out my Curious George, and as Georgia said, she needs some help, so I'm gonna say, maybe do it along with us. I'm going to put this on right here. I'm gonna tape it on to Curious George so you guys can see. It's always nice and handy to be able to see well.
We found Curious George.
We found Curious George. It was a moment.
The monster had eaten him, but we got it.
It was a moment. Georgia, what question do you have?
What I needed help with is wiring this up.
I know. So now you get to, here's another piece of tape for you. And you can do it with us. And sometimes when we have a partner to do it with, it makes it feel a little bit easier. All right. So I'm going to take actually this extra piece that Georgia has from over here. And when we do our copper tape, we do want to make sure that after we start it, we don't take it all the way off. It gets really loopy and totally unusable. All right, so we want to peel it off and stick it down right away. We're gonna do our bright yellow piece first. Georgia's working furiously on it. She's having a little bit of trouble getting around those corners. So what we do is we're gonna peel it and we're gonna stick it down, just like that. You wanna press down really good. You don't have to go super fast, just like that. And then when we get to the corner, remember Georgia, we give ourselves some extra. So I got a couple inches of extra, and then I can sort of bend it like this, and I come way further down. So I have this big wave right there. Do you see that, Georgia? I have a big wave to get around that corner. That really helps me. And then later what I'll do is I can just press this wave down like that, and I get a really nice bend. And then I can again slowly peel and stick, just like this. And again, I'm at another corner, so I'm going to give myself a couple of inches extra. And I'm going to bend it around like that, and I'll stick it down somewhere else. And again, I've got this nice big loopy wave, and I'm going to then finish my piece inside of the gray circle. I don't want to go out of it, and I want to be well inside of it. All right, so you'll notice here, I didn't come just inside those dotted lines. I'm pretty well inside that circle. All right, and then we need to do the other piece.
Can I use some too?
Mm-hmm. There you go. So we're going to do the same thing on this orange line. All right, the only difference is that the orange line only has one bend, which makes it easier. All right, so I got to get this started. And I'm going to start well inside the green circle. So I don't want to start like this where it's barely touching the green circle. That'll make my circuit really hard to work. I'm going to be well inside of it, not outside of the circle, but well inside. And then I'm going to peel that backing off carefully, stick it down, peel and stick. I'm going to get to this corner, and again I'm going to give myself a couple of inches of tape. I can then sort of just fold it over and press down. And again, look how big that wave is. That wave is really handy, all right? Because that wave makes it so that my tape doesn't rip, and then I can just fold that piece down. All right, and now I'm going to add my LEDs in. All right, if you're having trouble, you can always pause that video and you can see what you can do in terms of getting those bins, all right? If you have a lot of trouble getting those bins, what you could do is take a little piece of aluminum foil and you could tape it over the top of that, all right? So if you have tons of problems getting it to bend, that's one way to fix it. All right, now we are going to test our battery and our LEDs. And the way we do that is your LED needs to straddle your battery so that there's one leg on each side. And here it doesn't work because LEDs are like little one-way streets or slides. You slide down it, but you never go up. So if it doesn't work when you put it on, you would take it off, flip it over, and put it back on. All right, and the way to know is the long leg is the one that goes on the top. All right. So I have both of these. I thought it'd be fun to have a fast flashing LED on there. So this is the ones I'm going to use. I did check because I have two LEDs. I did check that it's actually going to work with two of them, right? So if you're using two and you want a different color eye, sometimes a red and a blue won't work. All right. So now I'm going to pop my LEDs through just like this. And I'm going to make sure that my long leg comes down here, which is the one that creates like sort of a C maybe, and my short leg goes up here. So right now I'm actually twisted. My long leg is this way and my short leg is this way. So I'm gonna flip that LED over. I'm gonna twist it so the legs will match up. You can make it do the splits just like that. And now it'll go straight across. I prefer bending them so that they go along that copper tape. That's just what I prefer doing so that you get a little bit more security there. And then what we'll do is we're going to put a piece of tape, our non-conductive tape, over the legs so that they connect really well. Now this is a spot that you might find trouble with, and if you do, you can always use some aluminum foil on top to make the connection better, but make sure that those legs are on top of the copper tape. And then we're going to do the second one as well. And again, you got to make sure that you put the long leg down towards this line and the short leg up here. So we'll make them do the splits, and then I can bend them so they go along the copper tape, just like that. Just like that. And then I will add in a piece of tape over here. And I'm going to cover over that again with my non-conductive tape. So your scotch tape or your masking tape will work great there. All right. Oh, and normally we have already added our battery in. We forgot to add our battery in, but we will do that right now. So our battery is going to go on top of the green circle, just like that, so you can see the inscription. So you should be able to see a plus. There's two sides, a plus side, and then the minus side has nothing on it. It's like sort of like a polka dotty bottom. All right, you want to see the plus side. All these circuits are made so that we have the battery in the right direction, which puts the slide in the right direction so that everything can turn on. And we're going to tape that battery in along the edges. All right, so see how I have just a little bit of tape on that battery. I don't want to tape over the top. That's something that's really important, especially if you're using clear tape, because you won't see it afterwards. And then you can take another piece and you can put it over here on this side. I do want to make sure I don't put tape over in this gray circle either. That's how we are going to connect our circuit. And now that we have our battery in and our LEDs in, we can test our circuit. All right, so the way that we test it is we need to close our circuit, which means we need to put this part of the copper tape right on top of the battery. And the way that we can do that is by just following this fold. So as we fold it, you'll notice that the copper tape right there folds up into the battery, and when we touch it, my eyeballs go on, which is awesome. If it flickers and it doesn't stay on like what you want, what you can do, open it back up, check your legs. Make sure those legs are really connected. You could get some aluminum foil and put the foil on maybe the corners that maybe you think might have ripped. You can check that the battery, when you fold this up, is going to be making contact with that metal tape that's inside the gray circle. All right, and if it's made so that the gray circle goes on top of the battery, but if you maybe taped on a huge part and your tape down here doesn't go all the way in, maybe it doesn't reach to the metal. So that's something that you can look for too. And then when we press it, it will press on for us. And now all we need to do is tape it all together. All right, and I will show you guys how to tape that together. And it's pretty quick to tape it, so we're gonna fold it up like what we had. I would use clear tape. Georgia loves to use hot glue for this, which makes it look really nice. But you can take just a piece of tape, and you can tape these pieces down just like that. All right, and then we can fold it like this. Now you might be saying, but Dr. Erica, I don't like this look right here. I don't really particularly either. And what we can do for that is you can take another piece of tape and you can put it halfway on one side, so it's just stuck half to one side like that. And then you roll it over the top and you tape it down. And it gives you this nice clean edge, especially if you have clear tape, it gives you a beautiful edge. I've gone back, as you can see in all of these guys, I've actually gone back and used clear tape so you can't see them. So they look like they're just a nice solid edge. And then you would do the same thing here. So we would put some tape that's halfway on one side like that. And then we can roll it over to the other side. This one, if you do it too tightly, sometimes it'll make it so it's always on. So you do want to be careful about squishing the tape right here. Sometimes that can be a problem. And then our last piece is right here. We can add a piece of tape there, and that will create our little folder piece. So again, halfway on one side, and then we roll the rest over. And now we have this book that we can add our Flatwood Monster to. And we have a cutout for the Flatwood Monster. The eyeballs on the cutout are spaced the same as the LEDs that are on our template. So it should just pop right on when it's all cut out. And then you can add other things that you want. Maybe it's a dark sky. Maybe you want to add a backpack because she's going to be backpacking. Maybe you want it to be a meteor or a UFO. Who knows what it'll be? But you'll be all ready to decorate. And I'm really excited to decorate with all of our friends over in Zoom today. Again, if you want to come to our Zoom classroom, you are totally welcome to. You can get all the information on that at patreon.com/RosieResearch. And make sure to write in your schedule to join us next week, because next week we are doing some cool Pokemon. This is our challenge circuit on Thursday with individually operating LEDs. I'm pretty excited about that. But we'll have some of our classic characters like Pikachu or even Charmander. It's going to be fun. We're going to have 5 Pokemon circuits we'll do next week, and then we'll take a couple weeks off for the rest of August while we gear up for September on distance learning, and we'll give you guys some surveys to figure out how we can best support you guys in the coming fall. All right, I'm going to say goodbye to my YouTube friends and hello to my Zoom friends so we can help everybody troubleshoot and share our stories. We'll see you later.